I laughed, but it wasn't joy, it was sharp, hollow, almost cruel. Ha ha ha, my parents had just told me they were paying for my friend's college, not mine. The words twisted in my head like a puzzle missing pieces. Ah, the sting pressed against my chest, and I wanted to cry, but the laughter kept spilling out, broken and bitter. Can you imagine? Your own parents, the ones who raised you, turning their backs while opening their wallets for someone else's dream. My friend's dream. Not mine. And the question that clawed at me, the hook that wouldn't let go, why them, not me? The room froze. My mother's eyes darted anywhere but mine. My father cleared his throat, rehearsed, mechanical, as though he had practiced this betrayal. It's just circumstances, he muttered. And I laughed again, ha ha ha, because what kind of circumstances make you choose a stranger's child over your own? My friends sat there too, awkward, guilt dripping into the silence. I wanted to scream, to weep, to demand answers, but instead I smiled, a crooked smile that felt like a mask. Suspense curled around me. Was there a secret I wasn't told? A truth buried beneath their words? I had always been the dreamer. I pictured myself walking across a campus, books pressed to my chest, the world opening wide. My friend had shared those dreams with me, late nights imagining dorm rooms and freedom. But now, the door was opening for them alone, and I was left outside, staring at it, wondering if I had ever held the key. I tried to play it off, tried to act strong. Well, that's generous of you, I said, my voice trembling. But inside, I was breaking. Tears pressed against my eyes, but I blinked them back, refusing to give my parents the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart. Still, the hook tightened. What reason could they possibly have? Was I not good enough? Did they love me less? Or was there something darker, something they weren't saying? The days that followed blurred together. I saw my friend's acceptance letter pinned proudly on their fridge. Ha ha ha, what a joke life had become. I cried quietly at night, muffling sobs into my pillow so no one could hear. And every morning, I woke with the same gnawing question, why them, not me? Silent wounds, while the world cheered their success. Yet beneath the silence, I began to notice things, half-finished sentences, a name I overheard but wasn't meant to hear, and once, a letter tucked away, torn at the edges, with my name scratched out. Inside it, a photo slipped loose, one I wasn't supposed to see. Suspense grew sharper. Was there more to this than betrayal? Was a hidden truth waiting to surface? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the laughter sharp, the tears hot. My parents' decision wasn't just about money, it was about love, loyalty, and something else I hadn't yet uncovered. And the hook that keeps you listening, that keeps me speaking, is this: what happens when the people you trust most choose someone else's future over yours? Ah, ha ha ha, it all blends together, raw and unforgettable. And I promise you, this is only the beginning. When I think back, before the betrayal, before the laughter turned hollow, I remember childhood. The days when innocence wrapped around us like sunlight, when my friend and I were inseparable. We ran through streets with scraped knees, chasing kites, then lay on rooftops staring at stars, whispering promises about the futures we thought were ours. One beat of joy, one beat of hope, simple, pure. My parents smiled at us both, offering cookies, stories, warmth. I never imagined those same smiles would one day hide a choice that cut me deeper than any wound. We dreamed together. I wanted literature, maybe psychology. My friend wanted engineering, or medicine, depending on the day. We laughed at the idea of dorm rooms, professors, freedom. Those dreams felt like treasures we buried together, waiting to dig them up when the time came. But now, those treasures feel stolen. My parents treated my friend like family. They came to birthdays, clapped at school plays, cheered at football games. At the time, it felt natural, even comforting. But now, I replay those cheers in my head, and I hear something different. Louder for them, softer for me. Was it always there? That imbalance, that tilt of affection? Suspense creeps in when I remember it, Because maybe the betrayal didn't begin with college. Maybe it began long before, hidden in the laughter of childhood. And then there's the photo. That torn letter I found, edges frayed, my name scratched out. Inside it, a photo slipped loose, faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger among us, smiling, standing close to my parents. Why was it hidden? Why was my name erased? The warmth of childhood collides with that image, and suddenly the innocence feels haunted. Suspense sharpens. Was this stranger part of the reason? Did they hold a place in my parents' hearts that I never did? I remember one summer afternoon, my friend and I built a fort out of blankets in the living room. My parents laughed, took pictures, called us their two kids. At the time, it felt like love. Now, I wonder if those words carried a weight I didn't understand. Were they already blurring the lines between me and my friend, already deciding who deserved more? Childhood was full of laughter, but looking back, I hear echoes. Echoes of favoritism, of choices being made silently. And the photo, that stranger's face, lingers in my mind like a shadow across all those sunny days. Suspense builds. Who were they? Why were they hidden? And why was my name scratched out of that letter, as if I didn't belong? Even now, the memories sting. The rooftop promises, the blanket forts, the cheers at school plays, they all feel different when viewed through the lens of betrayal. My parents' smiles, once comforting, now seem like masks. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if the betrayal didn't start with college? What if it started in childhood, hidden in plain sight? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the photo is only the beginning. College was supposed to be the dream. The echo of every childhood promise, the echo of every rooftop whisper, the echo of laughter that carried us into the night. I imagined myself stepping onto campus, books pressed to my chest, the air alive with possibility. Lecture halls buzzing, dorm rooms glowing with midnight conversations, professors who would challenge me, friends who would become family. It was the future I thought I was destined to walk into. My friends shared those dreams with me. We spoke of majors and minors, of paths we'd take, of the freedom waiting just beyond high school. They wanted engineering, maybe medicine. I wanted literature, maybe psychology. We laughed at the idea of sneaking out late, of exams that would terrify us, of victories we'd celebrate together. Those dreams felt like treasures buried in our childhood, waiting to be unearthed. But now, those treasures belonged to them alone. Because when the acceptance letters arrived, mine was met with silence. My parents didn't ask about my plans, didn't ask about my future. They only spoke of my friend's letter, their excitement echoing through the house. Louder for them, fading for me. I stood there, holding my own letter, feeling invisible. I tried to imagine what it would feel like, walking onto campus with nothing but debt and doubt. One sharp beat, tuition like a mountain, exhaustion like a shadow. The dream of college became a nightmare of numbers. And yet, I couldn't let go. Because every echo, whispered, sharp, fading, told me I was meant to be there. But then came the clue. That torn letter I had found, my name scratched out, the photo tucked inside. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret. Why was it hidden? Why was my name erased? Suspense sharpened. Was this stranger connected to the choice my parents made? Was my dream sacrificed for theirs? I remember sitting alone in my room, staring at my acceptance letter, tracing the words with my fingers. The paper felt heavy, heavier than it should. It wasn't just an invitation, it was a reminder of what I wasn't given. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. My friends' laughter echoed through phone calls, stories of campus life spilling into my ears. And I smiled, pretending to be happy, while inside, the echoes of betrayal grew sharper. Every time I heard my parents talk about tuition, about expenses, about sacrifices, I wondered if the stranger in the photo was part of those conversations. Was their name on a bank slip I hadn't seen? Was their face tied to a decision I wasn't meant to understand? The echoes pressed against me, sometimes whispering, sometimes sharp, sometimes fading, but always there. College was supposed to be the dream. But now, it was the echo of everything I had lost. The echo of promises broken, of love withheld, of secrets tucked away in torn letters and hidden photos. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if the dream wasn't stolen by chance, but by choice? What if my parents had already decided who deserved the future, and it wasn't me? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing louder. The day I finally confronted them, the air felt heavy, thick with echoes of everything unsaid. I couldn't carry the silence anymore. The torn letter, my name scratched out, the photo with faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret. Every echo of betrayal pressed against me until I had no choice but to demand answers. I walked into the living room, my parents sitting quietly, as if waiting. My voice trembled, but it cut through the air. Why did you pay for their college, not mine? The words echoed sharp, bouncing back at me, unanswered. My mother's hands twisted together, my father's eyes fixed on the floor. Silence stretched, and in that silence, the echoes grew louder. Finally, my father spoke. It wasn't about love. It was circumstances. The same word again, hollow, rehearsed. But this time, I pressed harder. Circumstances don't erase names from letters. Circumstances don't hide photos. Who was that person? My voice cracked, but the echo of it lingered, demanding truth. My mother flinched. You weren't supposed to see that. Her words fell like stones, heavy, final. Suspense sharpened. What wasn't I supposed to see? Why was my name scratched out? Why was that stranger smiling beside them? I felt anger rise, hot and sharp. You raised me. You promised me a future. And now you've given it away. To them. To my friend. To someone else. Why? The echoes of my childhood promises clashed with the present, each memory now tainted. My father's voice was low, almost a whisper. We owed someone. A debt. A favor. Something we couldn't ignore. His words echoed faint, fading, but they carried weight. Suspense deepened. A debt to whom? Was the stranger in the photo the reason? I pressed again. So you sacrificed me? You erased me from your plans, from your promises, for a debt? My voice was sharp, the echo of betrayal ringing louder than ever. My mother's tears fell, silent, but even her sobs carried echoes. They tried to explain, but every word felt like another wound. We thought you'd manage. You're strong. You'd find your way. The echo of those words cut deeper than silence. Strong? Find my way? While they handed my friend everything? I couldn't stop the tears. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. My friends' laughter echoed in my mind, their stories of campus life, while I stood in the ruins of my own dreams. And now, the revelation: my parents hadn't chosen me because of love or fairness. They had chosen someone else because of a debt, a secret, a stranger whose smile felt like a shadow over my life. I left the room, my heart pounding, echoes of anger and sorrow chasing me down the hallway. The torn letter burned in my memory, the photo sharper than ever. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. Suspense grew unbearable. Who was that stranger? Why did their presence erase me? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes sharp, the silence heavy. My parents' revelation wasn't an answer, it was another question. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what kind of debt erases a child's future? What kind of secret hides behind a stranger's smile? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing darker. After the confrontation, silence became my companion. The house felt emptier, though nothing had changed. My parents still moved through rooms, my friends still called with stories of campus life, but for me, everything echoed differently. Echoes of laughter that once warmed me now sounded distant. Echoes of promises whispered in childhood now mocked me. Was I not enough? Strong enough to be abandoned? Strong enough to carry wounds alone? Their words, "You'll find your way," rang sharp, fading into nights where I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if strength was just another excuse for neglect. I tried to distract myself, working odd jobs, saving scraps of money, imagining a path forward. But every effort felt small compared to the mountain ahead. Tuition, rent, books, one sharp beat, exhaustion pressing down, hope slipping away. And yet, I kept moving, because standing still meant drowning in silence. My friend's voice echoed through phone calls, stories of professors, dorm parties, exams. I smiled, pretended to be happy, but inside, each word was another reminder of what I didn't have. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. Their laughter carried through the line, but when the call ended, the silence returned, heavier than before. And then, the photo. That torn letter, my name scratched out, the stranger's face smiling among familiar ones. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. I couldn't escape it. Every time I closed my eyes, the image returned, whispering when I reflected, sharp when I raged, fading when sorrow consumed me. Suspense sharpened. Was my isolation not just neglect, but deliberate? Was I pushed aside for someone else's gain? I began to withdraw. Friends invited me out, but I declined. Family dinners felt unbearable, every glance from my parents a reminder of betrayal. I laughed less, spoke less, lived less. The echoes of my own silence grew louder, filling the spaces where joy used to be. Self-doubt became a shadow. I questioned every choice, every word, every breath. Was I destined to be forgotten in my own family? Was I meant to live in the margins while others took center stage? The echoes pressed against me, whispered when I reflected, sharp when I raged, fading when sorrow consumed me. One night, I found myself staring at the torn letter again, tracing the edges, feeling the weight of erasure. My name scratched out, as if I had never existed. The photo slipped loose, the stranger's smile haunting me. Suspense grew unbearable. Was this the key to everything? Was this face the reason my parents chose my friend over me? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. Isolation wasn't just loneliness, it was a mirror, reflecting every doubt, every wound, every unanswered question. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if my parents didn't just forget me? What if they erased me, deliberately, for someone else? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing darker. My friend's voice carried differently now. Every call, every visit, every laugh, it all echoed with guilt. They tried to share their new world with me, professors who challenged them, dorm rooms alive with midnight chatter, the thrill of independence. But beneath their words, I heard hesitation. Echoes of joy tangled with echoes of shame. They knew. They knew my parents had chosen them over me. And though they never said it outright, the silence between us spoke louder than any confession. I could see it in their eyes when they mentioned tuition, when they described the support they were given. Their voice faltered, their laughter faded. Echoes of guilt, sharp and unspoken. One evening, they came to visit. We sat in my room, the torn letter tucked away in my drawer, the photo burned into my memory. They tried to comfort me. "You'll find your way," they said, echoing my parents' words. But this time, it wasn't sharp, it was whispered, fragile, almost pleading. Suspense pressed against us both. Did they know more than they admitted? Had they seen the stranger in the photo too? I wanted to ask, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I listened as they stumbled through stories of campus life, each detail dripping with guilt. They spoke of opportunities, scholarships, professors who believed in them. And I smiled, pretending to be happy, while inside, the echoes of betrayal grew louder. Sometimes, I caught them staring at me, as if searching for forgiveness. Their eyes carried questions they never voiced. Did they wonder if they had stolen my future? Did they wonder if my parents' choice had poisoned our bond? Suspense sharpened. Were they hiding something too? The photo haunted me. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. I thought about showing it to my friend, demanding answers. But fear held me back. What if they recognized the stranger? What if they knew the truth I wasn't ready to hear? Our conversations grew shorter. Their laughter echoed less, fading into awkward silences. I withdrew, and they hesitated, caught between loyalty and guilt. The bond we had built in childhood, the promises whispered under blankets, the dreams shared on rooftops, all of it now carried echoes of fracture. One night, they finally spoke. I didn't ask for this, they said, voice trembling. I didn't want them to choose me over you. The words echoed sharp, cutting through the silence. I believed them, but belief didn't erase the wound. Suspense deepened. If they hadn't asked, then who had? Who was pulling the strings behind this betrayal? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. My friend's guilt was real, but it wasn't the answer. It was another question. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if my friend wasn't just a victim of circumstance? What if they were tied to the stranger in the photo, bound to a secret I hadn't yet uncovered? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing closer. The photo never left me. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. Every time I closed my eyes, it returned, an echo sharper than any memory. At first, I tried to dismiss it. Maybe it was a distant relative, someone I had forgotten. But the longer I stared, the more impossible that felt. Their presence was too close, too familiar, too deliberate. Suspense pressed against me. Who were they, and why were they hidden? I began to notice patterns. Conversations cut short when I entered the room. My parents' voices dropping to whispers, fading into silence. Echoes of names I didn't recognize, fragments of sentences that dissolved when I asked questions. Each silence carried weight, each echo sharpened the mystery. One evening, I overheard my father on the phone. His voice was low, urgent. "We can't let them know," he said. The words echoed sharp, slicing through me. Who was them? Was it me? Was it the stranger? Suspense escalated. The photo wasn't just a clue, it was a doorway into something larger, something buried. I thought about showing the photo to my friend, but fear held me back. What if they recognized the stranger? What if they knew the truth I wasn't ready to hear? The bond between us was already fragile, echoes of guilt and silence stretching thin. I couldn't risk shattering it completely. The stranger's shadow grew in my mind. I imagined them at family gatherings I wasn't invited to, in conversations I wasn't meant to hear, in decisions that erased me. Their smile haunted me, sharp, deliberate, echoing like a secret carried through generations. My mother's eyes betrayed her. Every time I mentioned the photo, she flinched, her voice fading into excuses. "It's nothing," she whispered. But whispers carry echoes, and those echoes told me it was everything. I began to withdraw further, consumed by the mystery. Nights spent staring at the torn letter, tracing the scratches where my name should have been. Days haunted by the stranger's face, their smile echoing in my mind. Suspense sharpened. Was this person the reason my parents chose my friend over me? Was my future sacrificed for theirs? Even my dreams turned against me. I saw the stranger standing in my childhood home, smiling as my parents cheered. I saw myself erased, fading into silence while their laughter echoed louder. I woke with tears, the echoes of betrayal ringing sharp in my ears. Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The stranger's shadow isn't just a memory, it's a presence, lingering, waiting. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if the betrayal wasn't just about money or college? What if it was about someone else entirely? Someone whose smile didn't belong, but whose shadow now defines everything. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing closer. The truth doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in, piece by piece, like echoes carried through a long hallway. At first, I only had fragments: my parents' silence, the torn letter, my name scratched out, the photo with faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Every echo of betrayal pressed harder, demanding answers. My parents' words, circumstances, debts, favors, were hollow, fading excuses. My friend's guilt was real, but incomplete. The stranger's shadow lingered, sharper than ever. Suspense escalated. Who were they, and why did their presence erase me? One evening, I searched the house. Drawers, cabinets, boxes tucked away in corners. I wasn't looking for comfort, I was looking for proof. And then I found it, another envelope, hidden beneath old papers. Inside, a bank slip. Numbers scrawled, a name I didn't recognize. The echo of that name rang sharp in my mind, louder than any silence. I confronted my mother again. Who is this? Why is their name here? Why was my name erased? Her voice trembled, fading. You weren't supposed to see that. The same words as before, but heavier now. Suspense sharpened. What wasn't I supposed to see? Why was this stranger tied to money, to letters, to secrets? My father tried to explain. We owed them. They helped us once, long ago. We couldn't turn our backs. His words echoed, whispered, fading into guilt. But I pressed harder. So you turned your backs on me instead? You erased me for them? My voice rang sharp, the echo of betrayal louder than ever. The photo haunted me. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. Suspense grew unbearable. Was this person family? A benefactor? Or something darker? Every echo of silence carried the weight of a truth I wasn't ready to hear. My friend noticed my distance. You're different, they said, voice soft, fading. I wanted to tell them everything, the photo, the bank slip, the erased name, but fear held me back. What if they already knew? What if they were tied to the stranger too? The echoes of doubt pressed against me, whispering, sharp, fading. Even my dreams betrayed me. I saw the stranger standing in my childhood home, smiling as my parents cheered. I saw myself erased, fading into silence while their laughter echoed louder. I woke with tears, the echoes of betrayal ringing sharp in my ears. Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The hidden truth isn't just about money or favors, it's about erasure, about choices made in shadows. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what kind of debt erases a child's name? What kind of secret hides behind a stranger's smile? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing darker. The moment came when silence was no longer enough. The torn letter, my name scratched out. The photo, faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. The echoes of betrayal had grown too loud, too sharp, too heavy. I had to confront them. I walked into the kitchen, the air thick, my parents seated as if waiting. My voice cut through the stillness. Who is this? I held up the photo, my hands trembling. Why was my name erased? Why was this hidden? The words echoed sharp, bouncing back unanswered. My mother's eyes filled with tears. You weren't supposed to see that. Her voice faded, weak, almost pleading. But whispers carry echoes, and those echoes told me it was everything. My father's jaw tightened. "It's complicated," he said, voice low, heavy. "We owed them. We couldn't turn away." His words echoed hollow, fading into excuses. Suspense sharpened. Owed them what? Who was this stranger whose smile felt like a secret? I pressed harder. "You owed them more than me? More than your own child? You erased me for them?" My voice rang sharp, the echo of betrayal louder than ever. My mother tried to explain. "They helped us once, long ago. We promised, we couldn't break it." Her words echoed fragile, fading into guilt. But promises made in shadows don't erase the promises made to a child. The stranger's shadow loomed larger. Their smile haunted me, echoing through every silence. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. Suspense grew unbearable. Were they family? A benefactor? Or something darker? My friend's name slipped into the conversation. My father admitted it. This stranger had ties to my friend, ties that bound them to my parents. It wasn't just about money, he said. It was about loyalty. About a debt we couldn't repay any other way. His words echoed sharp, cutting through me. Loyalty? Debt? At the cost of my future? I felt anger rise, hot and sharp. You chose them over me. You chose a stranger's smile over your own child's dreams. The echoes of my voice filled the room, heavy, unrelenting. My mother sobbed, whispering, "We thought you'd understand. We thought you'd forgive us." But forgiveness doesn't come from erasure. Forgiveness doesn't come from silence. The echoes of betrayal drowned her words. Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The confrontation didn't bring clarity, it brought more shadows. More questions. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what kind of debt demands a child's erasure? What kind of secret hides behind a stranger's smile? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing louder. There comes a moment when silence can no longer contain the weight of betrayal. For me, that moment was the breaking point. The torn letter, my name scratched out. The photo, faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. The echoes of everything unsaid had grown too loud, too sharp, too heavy. I erupted. My voice tore through the house, sharp echoes bouncing off the walls. Why? Why did you erase me? Why did you choose them over me? My parents froze, their silence heavier than any answer. My mother's tears fell, fading echoes of guilt. My father's jaw clenched, his words hollow. We had no choice. No choice. The phrase rang in my ears, sharp, relentless. No choice? I shouted. You had a choice. You chose a stranger's smile over your own child's future. You chose loyalty to shadows over love for me. The echoes of my rage filled the room, unyielding. My friend tried to intervene, their voice trembling. Please, stop. This isn't what they meant. But even their words carried guilt, fading echoes of complicity. I turned to them, anger sharp. You benefited from this. You lived the dream that was meant to be mine. And you knew. Suspense sharpened. Were they tied to the stranger too? The photo haunted me, even in that moment. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. I held it up, my hands shaking. Who is this? Why was my name erased for them? My voice cracked, but the echoes of betrayal rang louder than any silence. My father finally spoke, his voice low, heavy. They saved us once. We owed them everything. Without them, we wouldn't have survived. His words echoed sharp, cutting through me. Survival at the cost of erasure. Survival at the cost of my future. I felt the walls closing in, the echoes pressing harder. So you erased me for a debt? You erased me for a secret? You erased me for them? My voice rose, sharp, unrelenting. My mother sobbed, whispering, "We thought you'd understand." But understanding doesn't erase betrayal. Understanding doesn't erase silence. The breaking point wasn't just anger, it was clarity. I saw the truth. My parents had chosen shadows over me, debts over love, secrets over honesty. The stranger's smile wasn't just a clue, it was the center of everything. Suspense grew unbearable. Who were they, and why did their presence erase me? I stormed out, the echoes of my rage trailing behind me. The torn letter burned in my memory, the photo sharper than ever. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. My friend's voice called after me, fading, but I didn't turn back. The echoes of betrayal drowned everything else. Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The breaking point wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something darker. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what kind of debt demands a child's erasure? What kind of secret hides behind a stranger's smile? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing louder. After the breaking point, everything unraveled. My anger had erupted, sharp echoes filling the house, but once the shouting ended, silence swallowed me whole. Silence heavy, silence sharp, silence that carried echoes of every unanswered question. I withdrew further. Days blurred into nights, nights into shadows. I stopped answering calls, stopped meeting friends, stopped pretending. My world shrank to four walls and the torn letter tucked in a drawer. My name scratched out, erased. The photo slipped loose, faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. The echoes grew louder in isolation. Whispered when I reflected, sharp when I raged, fading when sorrow consumed me. They pressed against me, relentless, until even my own thoughts felt foreign. Was I forgotten? Was I erased? Or was I never meant to belong at all? I tried to work, tried to focus, but exhaustion clung to me. Every effort felt meaningless. Tuition, rent, survival, it all loomed like shadows I couldn't escape. One sharp beat, hope slipping away, replaced by paranoia. Suspense sharpened. Was the stranger not just a shadow in a photo, but a presence in my life? I began to imagine them everywhere. In the corner of a crowded street, watching. In the background of conversations, listening. Their smile haunted me, echoing in my mind. A smile that didn't belong. A smile that felt like it carried my erasure. My parents' voices became whispers, fading when I entered the room. My friends' laughter carried guilt, sharp and unspoken. Every silence felt deliberate, every echo a clue. Suspense escalated. Was the stranger tied to all of them? Was I the only one left in the dark? Dreams turned against me. I saw the stranger standing in my childhood home, smiling as my parents cheered. I saw myself erased, fading into silence while their laughter echoed louder. I woke with tears, the echoes of betrayal ringing sharp in my ears. I stopped trusting even my own memories. Childhood promises, rooftop whispers, blanket forts, all of them now felt tainted. Were they real, or were they illusions built to hide the truth? The echoes of doubt pressed harder, whispering, fading, returning sharper each time. Isolation became paranoia. I searched for clues in every corner, every drawer, every silence. The torn letter, the bank slip, the photo, they weren't just fragments. They were pieces of a puzzle I couldn't yet solve. Suspense grew unbearable. What kind of truth was buried beneath these echoes? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The spiral wasn't just loneliness, it was descent. Descent into doubt, into paranoia, into shadows that grew darker with every unanswered question. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if the stranger isn't just a shadow in a photo? What if they are the reason I was erased, the reason my future was stolen, the reason my silence echoes louder than ever? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing darker. Discovery doesn't come gently. It arrives sharp, sudden, echoing through silence like a crack in glass. For weeks, I had lived in shadows, haunted by the torn letter, my name scratched out, the photo with faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. One night, I searched again. Drawers, boxes, cabinets, every corner of the house became a battlefield. And then, tucked inside an old folder, I found it, a contract. Paper yellowed, edges frayed, but the words clear. My parents' signatures scrawled at the bottom. And above them, a name I didn't recognize. The same name from the bank slip. The echo of that name rang sharp in my mind, louder than any silence. I held the contract in trembling hands. It spoke of promises, obligations, debts repaid not in money but in loyalty. Suspense sharpened. Loyalty to whom? To the stranger? To their family? To a secret buried deeper than I had imagined? I confronted my parents again. What is this? Why is their name here? Why did you sign this? My voice echoed sharp, demanding. My mother's face paled, her voice fading. You weren't supposed to see that. The same refrain, whispered, fragile. But whispers carry echoes, and those echoes told me it was everything. My father's words were heavy. They saved us once. We promised we'd repay them. We couldn't break it. His voice echoed hollow, fading into guilt. But promises made in shadows don't erase promises made to a child. The photo haunted me as I held the contract. Faces I knew, and one that shouldn't have been there. A stranger whose smile felt like a secret, a smile that didn't belong. Suspense grew unbearable. Was this person tied to my friend? Were they the reason my parents chose them over me? I pressed harder. So you erased me for this? For a contract? For a debt? My voice rang sharp, the echo of betrayal louder than ever. My mother sobbed, whispering, "We thought you'd understand." But understanding doesn't erase erasure. Understanding doesn't erase silence. The discovery wasn't just a clue, it was a revelation. My parents hadn't chosen my friend out of love or fairness. They had chosen them because of a promise, a debt, a contract signed long ago. Suspense escalated. What kind of debt demands a child's erasure? What kind of secret hides behind a stranger's smile? I left the room, the contract burning in my hands, the photo sharper than ever. Silent wounds, while the world cheered. My friend's laughter echoed faint in my memory, but now it carried a different weight. Were they tied to this stranger? Were they part of the secret I had uncovered? Even now, as I tell you this, I feel the sting fresh, the echoes heavy, the silence sharp. The discovery wasn't the end, it was the beginning of a deeper unraveling. And the hook that keeps me speaking, that keeps you listening, is this: what if the stranger isn't just a shadow in a photo? What if they are the reason my parents erased me, the reason my future was stolen, the reason every echo carries betrayal? Silent wounds, while the world cheered. And I promise you, the echoes are only growing darker.